Anesthesiologists, what was something you won't forget hearing from someone that was under? I gave a patient an IV dose of ketamine for a pain procedure. He proceeded to tell the room that everyone had turned into cartoon characters, and then he announced he was melting into a wall of butter. Still my finest achievement as a physician. I was giving a young female patient sedation for a routine colonoscopy, and, as I pushed the propofol, sleepy medicine, it started to hit her. She sat straight up and yelled to everyone in the procedure room, "I shaved my asshole for you," and she flopped down on her pillow, and she was asleep. During my last C-section, second one, I told my husband that my throat was hurting, and the anesthesiologist informed me that it was due to the air getting into my body cavity and going up to my neck, to which I looked at my husband and said, "This is what deep throating feels like." My husband and the entire OR were laughing, and my OB said, "And that's why we're here." I ask a patient after surgery how he feels. He opens his eyes, stares me dead on and says, "With my fingers." Then he goes right back to sleep. My husband was put under to get his wisdom teeth out. He was a little anxious and also is just kind of anal. He's an engineer, so he read his pre-op instructions front to back like a dozen times. One of the things it said was, "You may experience profound disorientation upon awakening." As he woke up, he opened one eye and looked around the room, then said extremely huffily, "I wouldn't call this profound." Then he started crying. I was coming out of the fog of anesthesia from a colonoscopy. Apparently I didn't recognize my wife and refused her affections, telling her she was pretty, but I was married. Got big brownie points for that. Anesthesiologist here. For better or for worse, I'm a big Green Bay Packers fan, so I wear a scrub cap with the Packers name/colors on it. I was doing a pre-op evaluation on a kid who was a big New Orleans Saints fan, and when I walked into the room, his first words to me were "Packers suck." I laughed and continued to prepare him and his family for his redo open heart surgery procedure. Fast forward to surgery a couple days later, and his mom had come back to the OR as he was going to sleep. Given the fact this was a 3 or 4 time reduced sternotomy, going into the chest again, he had a high risk of major complications from the surgery. I started to push some meds to have him go to sleep while his mom was holding his hand, and as he drifted off, he said, "Wait, I have to tell my mom something." She got emotional saying how much she loved him, and we were all waiting to hear what he had to say so urgently. I paused giving him the medication, but he was already well on his way to being under, and as he drifted off to sleep, he said, "Packers suck. Kid did great. Hope he is doing well." Nurse here was a 22-year-old female at the time, had a teen boy come out of anesthesia who looked at me and said, "Hey, you're the girl from last night." I had to reassure everyone that that wasn't me. My dad woke up during a hernia operation. Apparently he was like, "Hey, what's going on?" The doctor freaked out, and they put him back under. He still remembers what it looked like to see himself opened up. I had a surgery to remove bone spurs from my big toes in early February of 2005. I woke up while the doctor was grinding the bone down and asked if he thought Donovan McNabb could lead the Eagles to a Super Bowl win. He nodded at the anesthesiologist, and I don't remember anything after that. I woke up one time, they were operating on my face. They told me to go back to sleep, but I said, "No, I'm good. I want to watch," but then I was out again. My wife was all doped up during her C-section and asked the anesthesiologist, "Did they cut me open yet?" He calmly told her they did, to which she replied, "Or watch it," with a huge grin on her face. The doctor and I lost it. My daughter had dental surgery as well, and I imagine the nurses remember her well. All 25 pounds of my 3-year-old woke up pissed and ready for a fist fight. She screamed and yelled so loudly that I could hear her from the waiting room. They pulled us back early in the hopes she would calm down when I got there, but nope, she screamed just as loudly at me. She also refused to put her clothes back on and at one point, while I was trying to wrestle her into her shorts, shoved me and whipped them back off. I wrapped her in a hospital blanket, carried her, kicking and screaming, to the car, and strapped her in naked, where she promptly fell straight to sleep. Woke up when we got home, and was her sweet as pie little self again. As far as I can tell, she remembered none of it. It was wild. One of my patients coming out of sedation embarrassed her husband who was in the room by saying that during sex he likes to have Vicks rubbed on his backside. Apparently, when I was going under I told the anesthesiologist, "Don't mess this up, I know where you work." My husband had knee surgery. After he woke up he half yelled half whispered, "Apple juice." So the nurse gave him apple juice, several small cups full. He grinned like a toddler and said apple juice and immediately flopped back and went back to sleep for all of 10 minutes until he woke back up gasping that he couldn't breathe. His mom, who I had met maybe 1 or 2 times at this point, went up to the foot of his bed to grab a nurse in the doorway and he bolted upright. That man projectile vomited pure apple juice directly into her face / body / the wall / the door / a hallway. I have never seen anything like it in my entire life. His mom stood there, soaked in juice vomit, and he just rubbed his eyes and said, "Ah, I feel better." Bam. Back to sleep for another 2 hours. LOL. I was told after surgery I said I love dogs and I want to eat the Taliban. A little girl was going under, and she was holding her mother's hand. She reached out for my hand with her other, and, as she was going out, she joined mine with her mother's and said, "You would be a nice daddy." I probably went beetroot red as I blushed. Was under anesthesia for a breast reduction. As I was coming out, my nurse was talking to me, and apparently I started saying, "OMG, it's an angel, and she looks like Barbie." I kept yelling for Barbie Angel, and possibly kept trying to hug her and pet her hair. I cried for her on the way home. She called to check on me later that night and referred to herself as Nurse Barbie Angel. She was the sweetest. My aunt, who notoriously despises fast food, old Mexican lady whose food is as good as it gets, woke up and looked at my uncle and said, "Are you the sexy man that's gonna take me to McDonald's?" If you knew her you would know that she would never say that. She has never lived it down. I'm an anesthesiologist. Woke up a 70 years old PT who got a penile prosthesis implant for erectile dysfunction. First thing out of his mouth in his post-surgery stupor was to request a private room and find out when he could take this baby out for a test drive. He was a happily married jokester. Thanks for watching the video. For more content like this, please subscribe, like, and share the video and push the notification button.